May I have a member certify closed session?
Madam Chair, I certify that to the best of each member's knowledge, the Williamsburg-James City County School Board, while in closed session, discussed only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements as stated in Virginia law, and that only such public matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Thank you, Mrs. Chen. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hunley. Ms. Aller?
Ms. Chen,
Aye.
Mr. Hodges,
Aye.
Mr. Hosang,
Aye.
Mrs. Hunley,
Aye.
Mr. Riffle,
Aye.
Dr. Cavazos,
Aye.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. May I have a member approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Hunley. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hosang. Ms. Aller?
Mrs. Hunley,
Aye.
Mr. Riffle,
Aye.
Dr. Cavazos,
Aye.
Ms. Chen,
Aye.
Mr. Hodges,
Aye.
Mr. Hosang,
Aye.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. Will you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance if you are able? Can you start it, Mr. Riffle?
I pledge allegiance
To the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you will please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you so much. We will move now to agenda item 4.01, public hearing on the FY27 operating budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is at this point in our meeting where citizens are invited to address the board. Those citizens desiring to speak have submitted speaker cards to the clerk prior to the meeting tonight. Those speakers are asked to come to the podium when their name is called, state their names for the record, direct their comments to the chair of the board. It's the board's interest and desire that all comments are heard and respected. Hence, the citizens are asked not to engage in applauding, verbal outbursts, or any audible demonstrations during the speaking presentations. Personnel matters are not considered in public meetings. Therefore, the board's request that all speakers refrain from making reference to specific individuals in any form or fashion. Though the board does not respond to your comments are heard and appreciated. Each speaker is allocated 2 minutes to make their presentation, and the board asks that you respect the time limitation. Also, please be reminded that no time may be yielded to another speaker. Your acceptance and adherence to these guidelines will be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Madam Chair, and then my directions are concluded.
Thank you, Mr. Riffle.
The first speaker for the budget, for the hearing on the budget is Jay Everson, followed by Marco Sardi.
Thank you, Jay Everson, and thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Jay Everson. I grew up in Glastonbury, Connecticut, which is outside of Hartford. The town was incorporated in 1693, and you had to have three things: a church, a parsonage, and a school. Because the Puritans had this very unusual, at the time, position that you could talk directly to God. Well, how do you talk to God? How did God talk? Well, he wrote the Bible. So all the little boys and girls had to learn how to read so they too could talk to God. And we've come a long way since then. But on the budget, when it comes to the instruction, if there's not directly related to improving the reading ability and comprehension of our kids, so they too can talk to God, or at least read the newspaper, if anybody still does that, I would ask that you redirect that money directly into reading for our kids. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Everson.
The next speaker is Marco Sardi.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Keever. My name is Marco Sardi, a member of WJCEA and your employee, speaking as an individual. I began in this division in 2021, making $49,000 a year with an insurance premium of just over $100 a month. This year I make $58,417 and pay $131 a month in premiums. So I pay about 0.3 of a penny each month more per dollar on my health insurance. Coincidentally, after inflation, I also make 3/10 of a penny more per month in take-home pay. So it earns out to be a net zero. Now, the conversation about a step 4 teacher making the same spending power as a step 0 teacher from 4 years ago is a whole different conversation, but for tonight about insurance. Even though I am paying, with inflation, to the 10th of a penny, the exact same amount each month on insurance, that leaves out a crucial detail that my plan has gotten significantly worse. My copays, my coinsurance, and my deductible are respectively 20%, 25%, and 50% more. And I know this isn't a new complaint and one that you have expressed empathy for, but at a certain point we do have to ask ourselves as members of this community, how tightly do we need to squeeze our public servants? The people who see your children the first thing in the morning and the ones who send them home safe and ready to be responsible members of our community. Are we ready to have the conversation about how we can support the people who each day want nothing more than just to work with your family to help raise your children, to provide the village that it takes to do such a monumental task? I urge the board to consider one of these many things that will come up in the next few months. But please be mindful, the people that these decisions will affect. And eventually, if trends continue, we will be outpricing the very people who we are tasking to help shape our future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sardi. We will move now to 5.01, announcements and superintendent's report. Dr. Kiefer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Want to begin my comments this evening by talking a little bit about opportunities to engage with WJCC. There are several that are live on our website. We want you to express your interest in serving on one of the following committees, or following teams. There's a Social Studies Textbook Adoption Committee considering text for Advanced Placement African American Studies. There's a Science Textbook Adoption Committee considering textbooks for 4th grade science, 5th grade science, and high school environmental science. And the Academic Calendar Work Group, which is a 2-year term to consider bringing forward recommendations for the 27-28 and 28-29 academic calendars. Those are all available for members of our community to engage with us and indicate or express an interest in participating. We would like for you to potentially mark your calendars if you are interested in teaching. There's an alternative pathway to licensure event that is occurring on February 19th at 6 p.m. right here at Berkeley Middle School. It is a licensure program that allows WJCC to partner with iTeach Virginia to help aspiring educators with bachelor's degrees obtain teaching position while fulfilling their licensure requirements. WJCC offers a full reimbursement option for those who complete the iTeach program and serve the school division for a minimum of 3 years as a teacher. We are also currently hiring for the 26-27 school year, so now is the time to spread the word to anyone who's been considering an opportunity to serve our community as a teacher. Finally, for this evening's superintendent comments, I wanted to mention that it was an exciting day across the school division. The WJCC Schools Foundation traveled far and wide, north and south, east and west in our locality to deliver award innovation grants. There were 37 grants that were funded, totaling more than $75,000, which nearly doubled the total amount of gifts that were provided last year. We are grateful for the Schools Foundation ongoing support and service to our students, staff, and community. My final comment this evening is, yes, in fact, I do watch the weather. And I am aware that there is some level of snow in our forecast. In fact, perhaps, depending upon the forecast that you watch, it could be a significant amount of snow. We will continue to keep an eye on the weather and share with staff and families any potential modifications to our operating schedule for next week. I do want to remind families and members of the viewing audience that there is information on our website right now with the title Know Before the Snow, and that gives you an indication of how we might handle things in the event of a longer closure. Madam Chair, that concludes my announcements for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Kiever. I will go to Ms. Chen.
Sure. Last week, I participated in the first meeting of this new calendar year the Special Education Advisory Committee. I'm just continuing to be the school board rep and really enjoying that role. Just wanted to make a few announcements and to share with my other board colleagues. At our last meeting, thank you, Dr. Kiefer, was our guest speaker. So all of our committee members, which is comprised of mostly parents and family members who are very interested in advocating and to also advise our board on recommendations from a special education perspective. So it was great to have Dr. Kiefer join us. And if anybody is interested, it is open to the community as well. You're welcome to come and sit in on our meetings and hear from our, every month we have a guest speaker. So next month it will be Grace Killis from Best Buddies, which is an exciting initiative that our SEAC members are really invested in trying to grow for possibly piloting in our division. So it's a student peer mentoring program for our special education students to work with students in our division. So that's taking place February 11th and in the Central Office 108 from 5 to 6:30. And the last thing and I'll continue to announce this, but marking your calendar for some events that we'd like to invite board members and community members to is the annual Family Festival that SEAC is helping to organize and plan will be March 15th. The Exceptional Games, which a lot of us really look forward to, will be at Jamestown High School at 10 a.m. on April 17th. And a new event, a new and exciting event that also relates to the grant that some of the members that are organizing it, SEAC is going to be involved as well as with our central office staff. May 2nd, they're organizing a very involved transition fair to help increase awareness for our families about the transition for our special education students, starting all the way from pre-K through 12th grade and then high school and beyond. And then I'll just say really quick that I did really enjoy being able to participate this morning and want to congratulate on behalf of our entire board. We are very proud of all the teachers who received a grant, and it was really fun to participate in that this morning.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Chen. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last Wednesday, I had the honor of joining Mrs. Chen and Dr. Kiever for my first Superintendent's Student Advisory Council at War Hill High School. I was incredibly excited to get my first opportunity to see some of the things our students were saying and doing, and after about 2 or so hours, I walked away very impressed. You know, a lot of people say things about kids these days, but what I saw was a room full of bright, passionate, and engaged young people. And perhaps my favorite part of being there was watching the Student Voices Tour Q&A play out as students asked questions about several different topics to Dr. Kiever. And honestly, it filled me with a lot of pride watching those high schoolers ask some pretty tough and probing questions to Dr. Kiever, who, to his credit, I thought really held his own. There were definitely some gotcha questions in there, and I actually really appreciated that on occasion he admitted that there were no good answers to a question that a student had. One thing I will note to the board is that during that Q&A session, there was a lot of concern voiced from the students, primarily from rising juniors and seniors, about the redistricting process and what that might mean for the remainder of their time here in WJCC schools. I think there's a lot of understandable anxiety and uncertainty about what comes next, and I think it just falls back on us as board members and leaders in the community to be as transparent and open as possible throughout the entire redistricting process. And I will close with this, Madam Chair. As I was watching those insightful discussions and exercises take place, I felt very good about my committee assignment. And then about halfway through the meeting, the pizza arrived. And Madam Chair, it was at that moment that I knew this is the right committee for me. And with that, I conclude my report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hodges. Clearly, I was on that committee. I started my first year on that committee. There was no pizza. Call Dr. Heron about that one. We will move on to 6.01 School Spotlight, Bright Beginnings. Ms. Nelson.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the school board, and Dr. Keever. In a moment, you are going to have the opportunity to watch a video highlighting our Fall Family Night in Bright Beginnings, and I do want to share one lens for you to watch it through. This wasn't just a family event, it was an investment in access and trust. Our Fall Family Night was designed for families so that they could see, touch, and experience what high-quality preschool learning looked like, while also building confidence in how to support that learning at home with students. What you'll notice in the video is not just engagement, but partnership, families, staff, and children learning together. That shared understanding is foundational to student success long before kindergarten, and it's the same work we are intentionally carrying forward as we plan for our new pre-K campuses. We know that when families feel connected and empowered, students thrive, and we want that to continue. With that in mind, I'd like to share a short video that brings this partnership to life in Bright Beginnings, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson.
We are having our first semester family night for Bright Beginnings. Our families are going to have a chance to not only engage in activities at each station, but also learn more about the importance of that. When our families understand what their child is learning and why it matters, they become stronger partners in their child's education, and not only here in preschool, but the rest of their educational career. So that's why it's so important. Our families are the first teachers there for our students, and the more that they learn and know, they can support their kiddos, they can advocate for them. If we can help that family, that trajectory just shift a little bit, it impacts that entire educational career for that child. We want our families to better understand all the developmental stages and pieces that go into our students that they learn here at school. They are going to learn a whole bunch of strategies, a lot of resources and manipulatives and games that they'll be able to take home with their child and utilize and use to help their education continue to happen at home too.
I learned a lot about more patience and about what activities I can do with them at home that will help build up that rapport and confidence within them.
I learned that there are many different ways to teach a young child how to speak, how to use their hands, how to do everyday tasks, and even music and art can teach us that.
Anything we can do to hook and engage, because sometimes they don't even realize they're learning. That inquiry, the focus on the different activities and just investigating life in the world is the best way to teach.
The different activities they display at school, we try to incorporate that at home. Just making sure that they're having fun and not just totally work, because that's what makes them learn.
One of our core beliefs in Bright Beginnings is that learning in preschool is whole child learning. Yes, we focus on early academics, but we also teach behavioral skills and regulation skills that help children thrive in school and in life. There's lots of tools to give the parents on helping work through when a child is escalated, what is the best tool or strategy to implement in those times. Our family night exemplifies WJCC's commitment to early childhood education, equity, and family partnership.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Any questions from the board or comments? Well, thank you so much. I know, having visited Bright Beginnings on a number of different occasions and seeing what we do with those young people in classrooms that have all different types of learners in there, you really understand the importance of early childhood education. So really excited as we continue to make a deeper commitment to that here in WJCC. So thank you.
Thank you.
We will move on to section 7. Agenda item 7.01. Citizens' comments and public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is at this point in our meeting where citizens are invited to address the board. Those citizens desiring to speak have submitted speaker cards to the clerk prior to the start of tonight's meeting. These speakers are asked to come to the podium when their names are called, state their names for the record, and direct their comments to the chair of the board. It's the board's interest and desire that all comments are heard and respected. Hence, the citizens are asked not to engage in applauding, verbal outbursts, or any audible demonstrations during the speaker's presentation. Personnel matters are not considered in public meetings. Therefore, the board requests that all speakers refrain from making references to specific individuals in any form or fashion. Though the board does not respond to your comments are heard and appreciated. Each speaker is allocated 2 minutes to make their presentation, and the board asks that you respect this time limitation. Also, please be reminded that no time may be yielded to another speaker. Your acceptance and adherence to these guidelines will be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Madam Chair, and my directions are concluded.
Thank you, Mr. Riffle.
There we have a list of speakers tonight, so I will call you in groups of 3, and then you'll just make your way to the front of the other row, just to kind of make it a little quicker for us. Our first speaker is Elijah Katz, followed by Alex Lord, and then Carter Evans. So the floor is yours, Mr. Elijah Katz.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Elijah Katz, and I'm a junior at Jamestown High School, and I'm a part of the WJCC Superintendent Student Advisory Council. The committee's purpose is to provide students with a direct line to the division's leaders, create space for honest conversations, share students' experiences and insights, and problem solve and generate ideas that will shape the future of our school division and elevate student voices in decisions that impact teaching, learning, and school culture. The committee has met 3 times and is made up of many of my peers who are excited to discuss issues that need input from both students and staff. Our main focus has been identifying these issues and discussing solutions for the betterment of our division, such as the Elevate 28 strategy, which has received a lot of positive feedback and discussion during these meetings. And I believe that simply being a part of these meetings and discussing strategies like so has helped me and all of the other students on the committee think differently in how we approach school, and thinking in a more open-minded way and less trying to identify problems and more trying to identify solutions. Again, I want to thank Dr. Keever and the school board for the opportunity to allow us to have these collaborative and strategic discussions that are truly student-centered.
Thank you so much, Mr. Katz.
Our next speaker is Alex Lord.
Hello, I'm Alex Lord from Jamestown, and I'm on the Superintendent's Student Advisory too, but I'm not here to speak on behalf of them. I've been here earlier this year, and I went on a tangent about the grading system. As I just spoke with Dr. Keever, I'd like to do something moving forward on actually doing something about it. I've kind of given you guys kind of like a rough sketch, I guess, of what we could do to fix it, and it's very prominent right now with the quarter ending, and you can see and feel, I guess, that the dread on kids' faces with how much these tests are worth, and teachers are cramming them in at the end, so I mean it's the end all be all. But what is one way that we could do to find a solution for this? Because I could come up here a million times and talk about how much I hate it, but it's not going to do anything. So Dr. Keever, next time I see you with the superintendent, maybe we could work out a solution or keep building on some solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lord.
Our next speaker is Carter Evans, followed by Karen Bergasel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carter Evans. I'm from Jamestown High School, and I'm talking about mental health with the grading system. Teen mental health is in crisis. Suicide is one of the leading causes of death among high school age students in the United States. And over the past decade, suicide rates among adolescents have increased by more than 50%. Rates of anxiety, depression, and chronic stress are at historic highs. These are not abstract statistics. These are students sitting in your classroom right now. Every single school day, thousands of teenagers seriously consider or attempt suicide. Many of them feel trapped by overwhelming academic pressure, pressure created and reinforced by a grading system that treats students like numbers instead of people. For many students, grades are no longer feedback, they are identity. A single low grade can feel like a permanent failure, something that threatens college opportunities, scholarships, and their entire future. That level of pressure day after day leads to sleep deprivation, anxiety, burnout, and hopelessness. While schools often say they care about mental health, the solutions offered are usually posters, assemblies, or reminders to ask for help. But awareness alone is not enough when the system itself is a part of the problem. Cannot claim to prevent suicide while maintaining policies that intensify stress and fear of failure. Many of you have not been in high school classrooms in years. The academic environment has changed. Expectations have risen, competition has intensified, and consequences of grades feel more permanent than ever to students. If you truly care about students' well-being, then actions must follow words. That means reevaluating grading practices, reducing unnecessary academic pressure, and creating systems that prioritize learning and growth over constant comparison and punishment. Because at the end of the day, grades can be changed, transcripts can be fixed, but a life lost to pressure is permanent, and that is a responsibility none of us should be willing to accept. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Evans.
Good evening, Madam Chair. I am Karen Bergsockel, a resident of the Roberts District in James City County. In a recent statement to Williamsburg Watch, the superintendent spoke of propelling academic growth while ensuring each student has a meaningful connection to their school community. I think that this is a laudable goal. I believe that one meaningful way to realize that vision is to consider renaming James Blair Middle School. The school's current namesake, James Blair, was an Anglican minister who helped institutionalize slavery in colonial Virginia. His justification for enslaving Africans was that he needed their labor in order to build the college to spread Christianity. It is part of a painful legacy that continues to affect this community today. Descendants of the people enslaved by Blair still live here, and some even attend this very school. Asking children to learn and grow in a building named for the man who held their ancestors in bondage undermines our shared commitment to equity and inclusion. Renaming the school would not erase history, but rather affirm our dedication to telling it honestly, while ensuring that every student can feel pride and belonging in the name of their school and its community. 2 closing thoughts. It is never too late to do the right thing, and no child should have to attend a school named for their ancestors' enslaver. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Bergersol.
Our next and final speaker is Robin Jester Wooten.
Good evening. Robin Jester Wooten. I'm a parent in JBB and Hornsby. I'm here regarding the school survey results from December. If I'm reading these numbers correctly, over 400 students replied that they do not feel safe at school. And that's only from 34% of the student body who answered. What can be done to address the concerns behind this question for our students? How do we know what they were thinking when they clicked, "I don't feel safe"? I wish I could talk to all 400 students, don't you? Relatedly, why was demographic information not captured? These results can miss key factors to be considered, such as racial discrimination, gender-based hostility, especially to LGBTQ+ issues, and barriers for lower resource students, not to forget children of immigrants right now. How can we capture those factors into a survey as broadly scoping as this one was? Additionally, 13% of students don't feel respected by teachers, and 42% by their classmates. And what if most of these students were students of color? And what if one reason is they go to a school named for a slave owner? Society can always deny what it does not track. I would like to ask the 400 students. I personally know of ongoing incidents, specifically bullying and racism in our schools, and I believe it is, at least in part, because we have a truly pitiful lack of staffing. The ratio of counselors to students is alarming, nearly 400 to 1 in some buildings. Williamsburg and James City County must find more funding for counselors, teachers, and administrators to adequately train them and then support them to do their job. Safe kids are kids that can learn. They deserve safe adults and safe buildings. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wooten. That concludes our public comment. We will move on to the consent agenda. I have a couple to read. First is 8.01, approval of financial report and monthly bills and payroll, November 2025. Item 8.02, approval of financial report and monthly bills and payroll, December 2025. Item 8.03, approval of minutes from the budget work session on 1/13/26. Item 8.04, approval of resolution R-2-26, Black History Month. Item 8.05, approval of resolution R-3-26, Career and Technical Education Month. And item 8.06, approval of the resolution R-4-26, National School Counseling Week. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thanks, Ms. Hunley. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hosang. Ms. Aller?
Mrs. Hunley.
Aye.
Mr. Riffle. Dr. Cavazos. Ms. Chen.
Aye.
Mr. Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Hosang.
Aye.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. We will now move on to action items. Our first is 9.01, approval of personnel actions. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the personnel actions as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Hosang. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. Ms. Aller?
Mr. Hosang.
Aye.
Mrs. Hunley.
Aye.
Mr. Riffle.
Aye.
Dr. Cavazos.
Aye.
Ms. Chen.
Aye.
Mr. Hodges.
Aye.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. Item 9.02, approval of VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Hunley. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Ms. Aller?
Mrs. Hunley.
Aye.
Mr. Riffle.
Aye.
Dr. Cavazos.
Aye.
Ms. Chen.
Aye.
Mr. Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Hosang.
Aye.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. Item 9.04, approval of minutes from the organizational meeting and work session on 1-1626. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes from the organizational meeting and work session on 1/6/26 as presented.
May I have a, thank you, Ms. Chen. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Aller?
Ms. Chen.
Aye.
Mr. Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Hosang.
Abstain.
Mrs. Hunley.
Aye.
Mr. Riffle.
Aye.
Dr. Cavazos.
Aye.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. Item 9.04, approval of minutes from the budget work session on 1/6/26.
Madam Chair, I move the approval of the minutes from the board work session 1/6/26. Whoops, yes. Board work session.
Thank you, Ms. Hunley. May I have a second?
Second.
I'll give it to Mr. Riffle. Ms. Aller?
Mrs. Hunley.
Aye.
Mr. Riffle.
Aye.
Dr. Cavazos.
Aye.
Ms. Chen.
Aye.
Mr. Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Hosang.
Abstain.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. Item 9.05, approval of decision regarding student case number 2425-043. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to uphold the recommendation for the student readmittance in student case code 2425-043.
Thank you, Mr. Hosang. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. Ms. Aller?
Mr. Hosang.
Aye.
Mrs. Hunley.
Aye.
Mr. Riffle.
Aye.
Dr. Cavazos.
Aye.
Ms. Chen.
Aye.
Mr. Hodges.
No.
Mrs. Donner.
Aye. Thank you so much. We are on to board member comments. I'm going to start with Mr. Hosang.
Yes, Madam Chair. Since this is my first meeting with board comments after the new board was sworn in. I want to welcome Mr. Hodges to the board and look forward to working with you in the next at least 2 years. And this isn't necessarily it's a committee report, but it's not something I think that should be brought up earlier. But Ms. Chen and I attended the first redistricting committee meeting. There's going to be many more coming up. And I just want to offer any parents, any teachers, any students that want to give your input, there's going to be a chance for you to provide input on what you think that redistricting should look like for us. So when you get that opportunity, please take it and give us your feedback as to what you're looking for so that we can incorporate that when we make our recommendation to the board later this year. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hosang, for serving on that committee. Ms. Chen.
Yes, I welcomed Mr. Hodges, but since this is our first sort of official meeting, I will say officially with everyone here in the audience, welcome, Mr. Hodges. It's nice to have you with us. And in addition to, I'll just quickly highlight in the last couple weeks, in addition to today being able to participate in handing out those teacher awards, another highlight was Mrs. Hundley and I are both part of the Gifted Local Plan. She is participating in the internal stakeholder meetings, and I was part of the external stakeholder meetings. So I just want to thank the staff that was involved with that and put that together. Dr. Colorado and Ms. Ford led the session that I was part of, and also Miss Elena Trott. She is like organizational leader extraordinaire. So it was such a productive time, well spent, and the session that I was part of, there were over 30 community members from all over the peninsula playing so many different roles and perspectives that came and volunteered their time and spent an entire evening with us discussing and giving us their input about the rewrite of our Gifted Local Plan. So that was definitely an experience that was new to me, and also just highlights how amazing our community is and how much people care about making sure that we are paying attention to sort of racial inequities that exist in sort of identification of gifted, and also just other gaps that there might be in talent development. And so, you know, it's our opportunity to really look at all the growth that's happened, but also to continue to see where we could make improvements for our students when it comes to gifted and talented development. And then I'll just quickly say that I'm very happy to be serving on the Redistricting Steering Committee with Mr. Hosang. So just rest assured that there is a lot of work going on. We are committed to weekly about 2+ hour meetings with many of our community members, with our central office staff, with people who have served on this board, as well as people who have served in other leadership positions in our community. I feel like we just had one meeting so far, but I do feel like we have a very representative and very knowledgeable steering committee, and we will be working on this for the next few months. And so just for public awareness, I know that there's been lots of questions and wonderings about redistricting, but May is when we will be probably putting something out for public, and there'll be plenty of time for public feedback. And we value that. So just so you know, that work is happening, and I'm excited to be part of that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chen. I'm going to go to you next, Ms. Hundley.
Also welcome Mr. Hodges. He's jumped in like he's been here for years, so thank you for that. I only have 2 comments. I know that Ms. Chen was talking about some of the upcoming things for SEAC and things like that, and you were hearing March dates in April and May. I'm telling you, something happens with growth after the winter holidays and in our students. our bands and our orchestras. We just heard them in December. They're going to sound so amazing this spring. We have art displays. I know we're collecting art to take to an event in April. Before you know it, we'll be looking at honors projects, and we'll be at the Dog Street Parade. It's just going to go really fast. And then another thing, Mr. Everson talked about reading and how important reading is. And I like when Mr. Riffle talks about his day job. I kind of have a day job. I substitute every now and then in a preschool, and I was able to do that these past 2 days. And I read 4 books from between 9 and 3, and the kids were like amazed, like you could hear a pin drop. I hope that parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles are reading to children, putting the book in front of them. I see a lot of children, younger kids now in strollers and things, and they have tablets. And there's something so important about either holding them in their lap or just having them in front of you and asking those questions about characters and setting and predicting what's going to happen. And I believe if we get back to that more in the homes, less screen time, more book time, I'd like to see kids with strollers with a little pouch beside with just books that they take out and look at instead of the screen. But reading is happening in the preschools that we're at, and that are coming into our schools. So there is communication between our Bright Beginnings and our regular kindergarten staff with local preschools to make sure that they are also trying to assist so that our kids are successful when they get to us. Those are my comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Hunley. Dr. Cavazos.
Yes, thank you. And again, I would like to add my welcome to my colleagues and our new member to our board. Welcome aboard. With regards to the 2027 budget discussion, I'd like to say I'm committed, and I would suggest my fellow board members are committed to increasing the salaries of our educational and supportive staff and not have their wage gains be either diminished or eliminated by the cost of their health care expenses. Both the salary and health care benefits are very important in maintaining the welfare of those individuals who are part of the educational process of the WJCC school division. And I don't want to be redundant, but I want to second my colleagues' comments about and reinforce the words relative to the priority of literacy offered by 2 speakers on 2 consecutive board meetings. And I would say that the board and staff are strongly committed to the tenet that every child needs to be able to read at an early age. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Dr. Cavazos. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a pleasure to be here tonight in front of the public for the first time. So to everyone who came out tonight, thank you so much for being engaged in our public schools. To my board members, thank you so much for the warm welcome, as always. I look forward to working with you all over the duration of my term. Over the weekend, the Commonwealth of Virginia made history by swearing in its first woman governor in Abigail Spanberger. And during her inaugural address, she laid out her vision for Virginia. And I want to read a few key sentences from one section in her speech because I feel like it's really relevant to some of the things that we're working through right now. And I quote, "We will make Virginia's public schools the best in the nation. We will work to ensure every child in the Commonwealth receives a world-class education at every level," and this is the key part right here, "providing them a solid foundation in reading and math." I will say that again, providing them a solid foundation in reading and math, and preparing our kids for a prosperous future, and we will invest in the schools and educators that are essential to this goal. And I think I speak for all of us when I say that I hope she is serious about those goals. And I hope the members of the General Assembly, both new and returning, share that vision and commitment. So I am hopeful that we will start to see more financial assistance from the state level moving forward so that over the next couple of years when we come together to approve a budget, we will start to see more programs being funded, JROTC, lacrosse, more teachers and staff being hired, and for our employees to receive compensation that either matches or surpasses that of our neighboring school divisions. And in the meantime, I just hope that we as a school board and as a division will continue to do everything that we can to keep pushing forwards towards where we need to be. But with that additional help from the state, I truly believe that we will see some new doors open here for our students and staff. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Mr. Riffle.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I won't reiterate the points that Mr. Hodges or welcome to the board. I appreciate his comments on the state. So I'll just mention a couple other changes the state has made since we've kind of last talked about our framework and such. We've appointed a new Secretary of Education, Jeffrey O. Smith. He formerly was the Deputy Superintendent of WJCC, and then afterwards became the Superintendent of Hampton and done some consulting for education around the peninsula. So it's nice to have one of our own kind of out there and doing the big dog work. And then we've also appointed the new State Superintendent, Jenna Conway, along with a Deputy Secretary of Education, Connor Andrews. They both have an extensive background in the Department of Education and work for higher ed and in other parts of the state. So it's great to see some new faces or familiar faces from previous administrations or a couple other parts of state government so they can kind of know the inner workings of the public affairs. And speaking of that, the House has passed a bill today that's, I think, worth noting. The state-funded school meals program that has a physical requirement and things like that, so it will go to appropriations and such. But it is nice to know that the state is taking some of the things mentioned in this speech, but also as a body, they've looked at this bill a couple times, and I hope they can get it over the line in the Senate. So excited for that. But yeah, that's, excited for the snow. Hopefully everyone kind of bundles up and make sure their house is boarded up. I don't know what's going to happen. It seems like there might be a lot more than people anticipate, but yes, look out for your neighbors, drink some water, pet a dog, the good stuff you do in Williamsburg, and thanks for the hard work that our educators do. I also want to mention our IT department. It's been a minute since we've been in this room, so thank you so much for the hard work y'all put into making sure these meetings run smoothly, and of course our IT across the whole division, so thank you. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Riffle. I won't reiterate what my colleagues have said, except for welcoming Mr. Hodges. We love it when our students come to speak. I think the eloquence with which they share their perspectives and bringing to the board the perspective of what it is to be a current student is very valuable. So I want to thank you to all of our speakers, but particularly whenever we have students come, we really appreciate that. And I'm also really excited to see some students in the audience tonight as well. And thank you to the parents and guardians who have brought them out tonight. I think it's so important for our kids to understand the governance portion of what makes their schools tick every day. And so to have them here to sit and experience a school board meeting is a wonderful education for them. So thank you so much for bringing them. I'm just looking forward to all the things that we have coming up. There's a lot of advocacy that we're doing, and so kind of piggybacking off of what Mr. Hodges and Mr. Riffle said, I'll move into our upcoming events. Our first is we have our Career Ready Advisory Committee on tomorrow, 1/21 at 3:30 p.m. at the Lafayette High School Media Center. The school board will participate in legislative visits and the VSBA Capitol Conference on 1/26/26 at the General Assembly Building and the Richmond Marriott downtown. We will also attend VSBA new chair, vice chair, and new member orientation on 1/27/26 at the Richmond Marriott downtown, or Zoom, depending on the snowmageddon. And school liaison committee will happen at 1/28/26 at 9 a.m. and room 300 in the annex at the school board and central office. Item 11.02 are upcoming meetings. Closed session will be 2/3/26 at 4 p.m. in room 300 in the annex at the school board. Work session and action items 2/3/26, room 300 in the annex at the school board and central office. Joint meeting 2/6/26, room 127 in the Stryker Center on North Boundary Street in Williamsburg. Closed session 2/17/26 at 6 p.m., room 200 in Berkeley Middle School. And regular meeting with proposed budget public hearing 2/17/26, 6:30 p.m., Berkeley Middle School auditorium. With that, our meeting